The following video contains spoilers for Yasuke. Viewer discretion is advised. Hi guys, it's your girl Sweet Tea, and I am back at it again with another review. Today we are going to be talking about Yasuke, a Netflix original anime that premiered a few weeks ago. And y'all, honestly, this was such a disappointment. Watching this anime was so disappointing. It was so disappointing. Don't get me wrong, there were some things I did like about the anime, but overall it was such a disappointment. But first, I'll talk about the things that I did like about the anime, and then we can get into the nitty-gritty. So some things I really did like about the anime, for one, was the soundtrack. The soundtrack was on point. It was amazing, and it was composed by Flying Lotus, I believe. But overall, though, the music was just simply beautiful. It was amazing. You can tell that the soundtrack for the anime was heavily inspired by Samurai Champloo. Shout out to Nujabes, rest in peace, man. Honestly, the guy paved the way for lo-fi music. Great stuff. Great stuff. Another thing that I really liked about the anime was the animation. The animation was crisp, clean. I expect nothing less from MAPPA. MAPPA's really been in their bag. They've been doing every anime under the sun. We'll just go ahead and go down a repertoire over here of stuff they done. One more thing that I did like about the anime was the voice acting. I actually watched the dubbed, and I typically favor sub a little more, but I wanted to watch the dub because I saw that Lakeith was voice acting Yasuke, and he really did the role justice, and overall, I really enjoyed the dub cast. But besides the visuals and the animation and the soundtrack, there's not really much else I can really say that I like. For one, the way that they promoted this anime, they really made it seem like they were going to tell the story of Yasuke and how he became this black samurai who served under Oda Nobunaga, right? So I'm watching the first episode and I'm vibing. And I'm like, okay, there's a lot going on. It seems like there's war going on. And then out of nowhere, a fucking mech flies in. What? Why are there Gundams in feudal Japan? Like, what happened to the original plot of the movie? Make it make sense. So the mech part really threw me off. Like, it honestly seemed so out of place. I was not expecting to see mechs flying around in feudal Japan. Now, there also were a lot of supernatural elements as well. Like, we saw magic. It's feudal Japan. I was like, of course, I figured there might be a magical element to it. But then it went a step further and went into there being creatures and mutations, and then werewolves appeared. And it's just it was just a lot going on. And not only that, but the story was actually about this young girl who possesses really strong magical powers. So basically Yasuke becomes her guardian and her protector. But throughout the anime, they show snippets of his backstory and how he came to Japan, but they're only really short backstories. And then sometimes the backstories had me confused because they would use terms and phrases to describe certain people within the court or whatever. And I wouldn't know what those phrases meant. They didn't explain what that was or what that meant. They just threw the word out there and expected us to know. And so we didn't really get to spend a lot of time with Yasuke and him becoming the Black Samurai. He was already the Black Samurai. They jumped around a lot really fast. The show was really fast paced. And I understand that it was only 6 episodes, but the pacing really threw me off. It really did. But honestly, the show was trying to be too much at once. It was trying to be all these different things thrown into one. And this was such a disappointment as well, because this is the same person who created the anime Cannon Busters. And Cannon Busters was a huge hit. It was so good. And I really hope we get season 2 of Cannon Busters. but there was just too much going on in the plot. It was just a hot piling piece of just chaos and too much happening. Now, don't get me wrong, like visually, it was good. I enjoyed visually watching it. Like I visually enjoyed the fights, how they're choreographed and the animation, but I just didn't like how they were leaning too heavily on the supernatural aspect. And then they were also leaning too heavily on like mechs. Why were there mechs? Like, I'm still not over that. Meanwhile, it's just, Yasuke just feels like he's just there. And that's how I feel like as a viewer, like we're just there and we don't know what's going on. And like I said before, I honestly thought we were going to be getting a show about Yasuke, about him becoming who he is, you know? Not some plot about Yasuke becoming like this guardian protector and he was like a washed up samurai, and then they just throw it's in small bits and pieces of his past in there. But yeah, guys, this was honestly such a huge disappointment to me because it was really hyped up, especially by like it was really promoted heavily by Netflix. Like it was going pretty hard on Twitter. Everybody was talking about it. We were excited about it, and then when it came out, we were like, it don't make sense. It don't make sense. Like it was not giving what they said it was supposed to give. No, honey. No. So that being said, I give Yasuke a 6 out of 10. Honestly, Yasuke probably would have been lower if it hadn't been for the saving graces of the soundtrack, the animation, and the voice acting. Otherwise, I would have gave it a lower ranking. But yeah, like this was just a disappointment, especially as like a Black anime fan. It really was a letdown and I'm upset, especially because this was spearheaded by LaShawn Thomas and he made Cannon Busters. And if you've seen Cannon Busters, you know how good it is. So it's like, why did we go so far? Thank you guys for watching today's video. If you like what I had to say, make sure you leave a big thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell notification to stay notified for when I upload new videos. Also, follow me on my socials because I would love to hear from you all and talk to you all. Also, comment down below and let me know, how did you feel about Yasuke? Was it a disappointment to you or did you really enjoy it? I would love to hear your thoughts. Well, that is all for today's video, and I hope you all have a fantastic and lovely day. Bye bye!